The icy wind howled through the city, cutting through the thin layers of clothing worn by the people rushing home. Among them sat a little girl, no older than 10, huddled against the stone railing of the bridge. Her name was Lena, and her small hands trembled as she held out a dented cup, her voice barely a whisper. "Please, sir, just a little something to eat." Most pedestrians ignored her, their eyes fixed on their phones or the distant glow of luxury shops. But one man stopped. Dressed in a tattered coat with dark glasses covering his eyes, he tapped his cane lightly against the pavement. His name was Daniel Carter, a self-made millionaire who had grown up in these very streets before fortune smiled upon him. But today, he wasn't here as a wealthy businessman. He was pretending to be blind. Daniel had spent years building his empire, but the loneliness of his penthouse had made him question everything. Had money stolen his ability to trust? So, he devised a test, to see if anyone in this city still had kindness in their hearts when they thought no one important was watching. For days, he sat on park benches, pretending to stumble, hoping someone would help. But no one did. Until Lena. "Careful, mister," she gasped as he feigned tripping near her spot. She leaped up, her tiny hands steadying him. "The ground is uneven here." Daniel adjusted his glasses, hiding his surprise. "A beggar child helping him?" "Thank you," he murmured, playing his role. "Could you guide me to the cafe across the street?" Most would have brushed him off, but Lena hesitated only for a second before nodding. "Of course. But..." She bit her lip, glancing at her empty cup. Daniel expected her to ask for money. Instead, she said, "Wait here just a minute, okay?" Before he could respond, she darted off. Daniel stood frozen as he watched Lena, through the slits of his glasses, run to a nearby food stall. She dug into her small pouch, pulling out a few crumpled bills, her earnings for the day. His breath caught as she handed it all to the vendor. Minutes later, she returned, pressing a warm paper bag into his hands. "Here," she said softly. "It's a meat pie. You must be hungry." Daniel's throat tightened. This child, who had nothing, had spent her last coin on him. "Why?" he asked, his voice rough with emotion. Lena smiled faintly. "Because when I'm hungry, I know how much it hurts. I don't want you to feel that way too." Daniel could no longer keep up the act. Slowly, he removed his glasses, revealing his clear, tear-filled eyes. Lena gasped. You can see." He knelt before her, gripping her small, cold hands. "Yes. And I'm so sorry for deceiving you." He told her everything, his wealth, his loneliness, his desperate search for kindness. Lena listened quietly, then surprised him again by hugging him tightly. "It's okay," she whispered. "I'm just glad you're not really blind." Chapter 5, A New Beginning ****. That night, Daniel didn't return to his penthouse. Instead, he took Lena to a warm diner, where she ate until she was full for the first time in months. As she shared her story, how she'd lost her parents and been left to fend for herself, Daniel made a decision. By sunrise, Lena was no longer a beggar. She was his daughter. Daniel used his wealth to ensure she had a home, an education, and most importantly, love. And in return, Lena taught him the greatest lesson of all, that true wealth isn't measured in money, but in the kindness we give when we think no one is watching. Years later, a now-grown Lena stood beside Daniel at the opening of their foundation, a shelter for homeless children. As cameras flashed, reporters asked Daniel what inspired this change. He smiled, looking at Lena. A little girl who had nothing, but gave everything. And in that moment, the world remembered, the smallest acts of love can change lives forever. True kindness isn't about what you have, it's about what you're willing to give, even when it costs you everything.